Руско-украинската воена криза, како и смртта и 70-годишното владење на британската кралица Елизабета II. Веројатно ќе бидат настани кои ќе одбележат поновата светска историја. Ова издание на Трилинг ќе го започнеме со интервју со британскиот амбасадор во земјата Метју Лосон, кој во Северна Македонија допатува пред речиси 2 месеци. Најпрво ви благодарам што ја прифативте поканата за гостување во ТВ магазинот Трилинг. Амбасадоре, имаше и падови и подеми владењето на британската кралица. Што ги одбележа овие 7 децении на тронот владењето на кралицата Елизабета II?
Благодарам горе за поканите. Јас сум многу сретен да бидам тука денес со вас. Нашата кралица го представуваше најдоброто од Обединетото кралство за нас. Та беше посветена на јавната служба и за нас та представуваше континуитет и гордост на нашата традиција и на нашата историја. Та дојде на тронот во 1953 година и можете да замислите ги промените кај нас во секоја земја од тогаш. И мислам дека она што беше најважно беше дека, како и секој голем лидер, нашата кралица покажува незината лични вредности, јавна служба, незината вера и незиното чувство за должност. И беа инспирација за нашиот народ. И ја почитувавме како кралица и како мајка и како водач.
Монархијата можеби не беше толку силна во еден период од владењето на кралицата Елизабета II. Сега Чарлс III ја наследува, но според една анкета спроведена во мај година, само 45% од шкотите се согласни за одржување на монархијата, наспроти 60% на ниво на цела држава, додека 36% се изјаснени дека смртта на кралицата би бил вистински момент за прогласување на република. Ке преживели Обединетото кралство, имајќи во предвид дека неодамна дури една од највлијателните шкотски партии сугерира или бара одвојување на Шкотска од кралството.
Јас не се сумневам дека монархијата ќе остане и ќе напредува во едина. Како што реков, за британскиот народ, за нас, кралицата и кралското семејство представуваат чувство на континуитет. И кралското семејство е навистина популарно во Обединетото кралство. Погледнете ги илјади луѓе кои чека со часови пред кралскиот погреб да одадат почит на кралицата, например. И во односу на прашањето за Commonwealth, мислам дека е важно да се запамети дека ова организација е за слави заедничкото богатство на заедницата, спортските врски, културните врски, а не само спомените од минатото.
Амбасадоре, добро го познавате регионот. Прашањето до вас ми е директно. Каде го научивте македонскиот јазик? И колку време ви беше потребно за релативно добро да го зборувате?
Благодарам. Јас пробам да зборувам македонски јазик. Јас го учив јазикот во нашиот центар во Лондон и учив 10 месеци во нашиот центар. Како вие знаете, јас работев во Бања Лука, во Сарајево и сакам овај регион, сакам луѓе, сакам култура на овој регион. Да.
Новиот британски крал, во својство на принц, во 90-тите ја посети Република Македонија тогашна, имаше средба со тогашниот македонски претседател Киро Глигоров. Како ги оценувате денес односите меѓу Велика Британија и Северна Македонија?
Look, I think we have an excellent bilateral relationship. I think we are very proud to have stood side by side with North Macedonia at key points in your history. I would like to think that we have always been a good and reliable friend, and that we will be a good and reliable friend in the future. We're certainly delighted to be partnering you in NATO, and we are here with a sizable trade relationship with your country, with a program to help your government make the reforms to better provide services for citizens. And I think that we also have joint values as countries, and that is perhaps most important of all.
Брекзит. Велика Британија излезе од европското семејство, но се заговара нова европска политичка заедница, идеја која промовираше францускиот претседател Макрон, во која би партиципирале земјите кандидати за членство во ЕУ. Во еден период дури се споменуваше дека во таа нова европска политичка заедница би партиципирала и Велика Британија.
On the idea of a European political community, I think it's something that our government and as you know, we have a new government, we have a new Prime Minister. It's something that they're considering at the moment, how we interact with it. It's a new idea which we're considering very carefully. As we've said, I think in public before, as far as your country is concerned, what is necessarily the case for the United Kingdom, with 68 million people, with a sizable economy and a kind of a global diplomatic network and reach, is not necessarily the same as for North Macedonia. We certainly support whatever is the sovereign choice of your country, and in this case, the majority of your citizens and your government are firmly committed to European membership, and we absolutely support that path.
Светот и посебно Европа се соочува со студена зима и жешка закана од Русија. Дури рускиот претседател Путин не исклучи можноста од употреба на нуклеарка. Дури имаше и реакција на британската премиерка дека Европа, вклучувајќи тука и Велика Британија, е подготвена на се.
I think there are huge implications from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. I think the United Kingdom is very proud to stand together with the people of Ukraine, people of North Macedonia as well, and as partners in NATO. We are, of course, committed to not only our own security as part of the NATO alliance, but also standing firmly with the people and government of Ukraine against this aggression. There's no doubt that it has caused already a number of significant economic problems. Countries are faced with high inflation, faced with energy shortages, the two are linked, and of course the economic consequences from these issues are very significant. They're going to be likely very significant in my country over the winter, and I suspect that they may also be significant here in North Macedonia. What we have to do about that is just, obviously, it's for all of our governments to take the measures that they need to take to help citizens, help businesses through what is a difficult period. But I honestly don't think we should forget that for the people of Ukraine, this is not just about higher gas prices, higher prices for fruit and vegetables, higher prices for petrol. This is about their country. This is about an invasion of their country by another neighbouring country. And so we mustn't forget that however difficult it becomes for us and for our citizens, that it's a lot more difficult for the people of Ukraine.
Руската инвазија врз Украина веќе економски се одразува врз речиси сите земји во светот, расте инфлацијата кај сите држави, енергетската криза се продлабочува. На ваквата криза не е имуна ниту Велика Британија. Што презема Велика Британија за да се ублажи ударот од оваа криза?
So our new government has already come out with a series of measures to support our economy and our citizens through the winter, and that includes support for energy bills and support for small and medium-sized enterprises. So our government has a clear plan, and I believe that your government also has a clear plan for the citizens of this country. It'll be a difficult period, I suspect, for many countries and many people, but we'll get through it. And we'll get through it as partners, and we'll get through it by supporting each other as best we can, and by presenting a united front against the terrible invasion of Ukraine.
Следите интервју со британскиот амбасадор во земјата Метју Лосон. Амбасадорот Северна Македонија го започна процесот на скрининг за членство во Европската унија во преговарачкиот процес. Прашањата се групирани според теми или како што ги нарекуваме кластери, а првиот веројатно ќе биде суштински, кој опфаќа владењето на правото, борбата против корупцијата, реформа на администрацијата и менаџирање на јавните финансии. Колку Северна Македонија во овој момент има капацитет да одговори на предизвиците за побрзо зачленување и каде ги гледате слабостите?
I don't want to go into too much detail. I hope you understand, as the ambassador of a country that's left the European Union, I think it's best to leave some details to ambassadors from member states or the EU ambassador. What I would say, though, is that the reforms that are required of North Macedonia as part of the EU process, whether it's this screening process or further down with the accession processes more generally, they're important reforms, but they're important reforms also for the good of the country as a whole. Essentially, the idea of these reforms is to make the country more functional, more effective at delivering the services that citizens want. And that is an absolutely key part of the process. So while I don't want to comment in detail on where you are in the process, apart from to just say again that for the United Kingdom government, it's absolutely your sovereign choice to choose the path of membership to the European Union, and we support that. We are absolutely in favour of the direction of travel. These reforms will help your country develop, will help your country become a stronger partner to our country, will help to bring investment from British companies into North Macedonia. So these reforms are in and of themselves a positive thing.
Велите дека е неблагодарно да зборувате како земја која излегла од Европската унија, меѓутоа заедно сме како држави дел од НАТО. Постојат ли безбедносни предизвици во овие околности на руско-украински конфликт?
For the government of the United Kingdom, it's not a conflict, it's an invasion. Russia has invaded Ukraine, it's invaded another sovereign country. So those has enormous consequences for the people of Ukraine, and we stand with the people of Ukraine against this aggression. For European security more generally, what it means is that I think it's revitalized what it means to be a partner in NATO. The concept of collective security against aggression has always been important, but I think it's never been more important in the last 20, 30 years since the end of the Cold War than it is now. And that's why it's really been an important time for your country, for North Macedonia, to join the NATO alliance. And I was present in Parliament. I was delighted when the ratification of Finland and Sweden as new members went through the Parliament of North Macedonia, to see the strength of parliamentary support for NATO. So overwhelmingly 103 votes, I think, to only 2 votes against. Only one political party stands against NATO in your Parliament, and that party only has 2 votes. So it's a remarkable degree of support and solidarity in your Parliament for NATO, and it's never been a more important time. So we are delighted to partner with you in NATO.
За Северна Македонија да ги отпочне преговорите по поглавја со Европската унија, неопходно е земјата да ги реализира уставните промени, како и вклучување на бугарите во преамбулата. Една од најголемите опозицијски партии вели дека во овој момент не дава зелено светло за за промена на уставот. Како вие гледате на овој актуелен проблем?
I mean, my answer to this is this. Look, I think you have almost all the political parties in this country committed to NATO membership and membership of the European Union. I think the citizens of this country need to look at the platforms of the political parties and understand what are the choices underneath that. I think when there's been an international agreement made, those international agreements have to be respected. Those international agreements, if they are a requisite part of becoming a member of a club or an organisation such as the European Union or NATO, are going to have to be respected by either political party or any political party who wants to be in power in order to get the outcome that they are selling to the citizens and who they are going to the polls on. So I think citizens of this country need to look carefully, and political parties need to look carefully at what they are saying they want and what they're prepared to do to get what they want and where they're going. And I think as an ambassador, as a diplomat, you learn a lot about strategy making, you learn a lot about how to frame long-term choices. A strategy and a political party platform are not so different. They are essentially a way of framing choices. You can't have a strategy that you can't agree with, because strategies imply choices. Now, political party platforms imply choices. So you can't say on the one hand, I want to be a member of this and I want to be a member of this, but I'm not prepared to respect the agreement that's been made, or I'm not going to fulfill the conditions of this process, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to allow you to deliver the outcome you're saying that you want. So I think political parties have to think carefully about that, and I think political parties have to act responsibly and fulfill the commitments that the people want, that the government itself at this point is committed to. But I would generally like to see, in terms of Euro-Atlantic integration, a greater sense of responsibility and a greater sense of togetherness. And perhaps there are a set of issues that are so important for the future of this country, questions of Euro-Atlantic integration, that there can be baskets of issues that political parties can agree to work together on. Obviously, if there aren't enough votes in Parliament to get things through, that's a mathematical fact that things will not pass. But if there are things that are so important for the future that need to be passed for the good of the country, then I think there should be an option. And I think voters will reward parties that work together to get this country moving further forward on its Euro-Atlantic path.
Ви изгледа ли логично партиите, речиси сите, да се за членство во НАТО и Европската Унија, а да се против Преспанскиот договор и договорот со Бугарија, кој беа и предуслов за земјата да стане членка на НАТО и да добие зелено светло за старт на диалогот со Европската Унија, а при тоа да инсистираат на референдум?
To be quite honest, no, not particularly. I think it comes back to what I said about political parties showing beyond the rhetoric what it is they're going to do to deliver the outcome they say they want. So tearing up or ignoring international agreements that have been made is not going to help the country or the political party deliver the things that they say that they want to achieve. So I do think political parties need to think carefully about what they're promising to citizens, and citizens need to look carefully at what is being promised by political parties.
Референдумите се непредвидливи, но се шанса за луѓето да ја променат иднината. Оцени вашата претходничка амбасадорката Галовеј, додека беше во Македонија. Кои би биле ефектите доколку сепак се спроведе референдум, откако првата иницијатива на ВМРО-ДПМН пропадна, сега една друга партија инициира сепак да се одржи референдум на кој граѓаните би се изјасниле во однос на договорот со Бугарија?
I think in general, as I've said, I think that this country has an incredible opportunity to make progress. I think irrespective of which political side of the debate you're on, the majority of the citizens of this country, according to the polls, want to be part of Euro-Atlantic institutions. And I think both political parties, the main political parties and also other parties, are committed to that. So I think it's a matter of those political parties working out how they're going to deliver what they say and what they have promised, and then, if possible, coming together in a responsible way to deliver that future for the people of this
Според
country.
една анализа, националните истории на Балканот се создавале како наследнички на сложена и испреплетена историја. Дали македонско-бугарските односи се заробеници на минатото, наместо да гледаат кон иднината?
Look, I think any country with a proud history, there's always the possibility of becoming or being seen to be trapped by the past. I think what's key for any country, and I think if you look at the history of my country, we have had, my country has been influenced by sort of conflicts with its near neighbours, Scandinavia, with the Norman French 1,000 years ago. If you go back far enough, then we're essentially talking about an invasion during the Roman period. I think if you look at specific points in history too hard, then it is possible to be trapped by the past. What I think is important, and what my country is committed to doing, is having the best possible relationship with its neighbours. Now, in the case of the United Kingdom, you asked about Brexit, and yes, there have been some tensions, over specific aspects of the Brexit agreement, particularly around Northern Ireland, which is an incredibly complicated issue in its own right. But the UK government's absolutely committed to the best possible relationships with its neighbours, and we need the relationships with our neighbours, just as you need relationships with your neighbours. So I think it's about trying to find common ground, it's trying to find common solutions, and looking at ways of cooperating and not being dragged into divisive rhetoric or focusing too much on specific moments in the past. And I say that from the perspective of my country primarily, but I do think it applies to this situation as well.
Енергетската криза создава голема главоболка на сите земји. Лидерите од Отворен Балкан побараа доколку е возможно помош околу справувањето со енергетската криза. Може ли да се очекува каква таква помош од меѓународните партнери за ублажување на последиците од оваа криза?
I certainly think that this is a time in which all of us, all of our countries, whether it's through NATO or whether it's through other relationships, need to stand together in the face of the Russian invasion and its consequences. In terms of economic support, I absolutely think that your government is reaching out to its neighbours and to its partners and its friends, and naturally is reaching out to my government for help. We are a big supporter of reform here. We have a number of reform programmes, and even this week I was discussing with your government some possible forms of support. What's difficult, I think, is the global situation, and essentially the situation involves many complex questions of pipelines, of ways that energy moves across the continent, over the sea in the case of the United Kingdom, or pipeline, and that makes it difficult to quickly change the market dynamics which we're all facing. But I do think that we have to work together, and I think where the UK government has a specific thing or piece of reform assistance that we can offer North Macedonia, then absolutely we'll look favourably on that.
Амбасадор Лосон, интервјуто го започнавме со 70 годишното владење на британската кралица Елизабета II и ќе го завршиме со Велика Британија. Кои се ефектите од одлуката за Брексит?
I don't think Brexit and the consequences are as difficult a question, actually. I think for the government of the United Kingdom, Brexit was about realising a set of opportunities over a long time frame. I think, as I said before, when you set a strategy, You know, it implies a set of priorities and decisions, and then you have to see those priorities and decisions through. The case of renegotiating trade relationships, you know, negotiating trade relationships with partners sometimes that we've perhaps undervalued, negotiating trade relationships and security partnerships with countries, you know, not necessarily in our immediate neighbourhood, but further east, and having a global perspective on opportunities is what Brexit's about, and that's absolutely what my government is committed to. Obviously, that kind of reorientation of one's diplomatic strategy, military strategy, economic strategy, these things take time, and that is what I think we're seeing in the short term. But I think the government of the United Kingdom is absolutely committed to making the most of the opportunities of Brexit, and responding to what was a popular decision, and that is the will of the people of the United Kingdom, and that is what we're working to achieve.
Ви благодарам за гостувањето во емисијата.
Thank you very much. Благодарам.
Поштовани гледачи, следевте интервју со амбасадорот на Велика Британија во земјата, Метју Лосон, а по кратката пауза за реклами следуваат и останатите содржини за ово издание на ТВ магазинот Трен. Останете со нас.